We are crotchety old men.
And a woman.
We are crotchety old men.
And a woman.
I am crotchety. She is crotchety. We are crotchety old men.
And a woman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of We Are Crotchety Old Men and a Woman, the podcast for you, with you, and sometimes even about you. In today's podcast, we actually are going to start off by we had a challenge that was sent to us by Mrs. Alfred to go to the National Zoo in Washington D.C., and we're going to talk about that. But we're going to also talk about just some fun Halloween things, some traditions, some questions that Abigail and I have for each other. So that's going to be kind of fun. But we also wanted to reach out. I had some people on Twitter actually reach out to us. They wanted to know, how do they get to email us? Because I forgot to do that and I apologize. It is we are crotchety old men at gmail.com. We are crotchety old men at gmail.com. You could also send us a tweet to see if you want to get on there. So anyway, I just wanted to wait, what's this? Uh-oh. We had an email about a correction.
We did, and it was from Maggie from West Virginia. Essentially, last week we were talking about soap operas and nighttime soap operas, and I indicated that Dallas was connected to Dynasty. In fact, it is not. And Maggie let me know that, and I sometimes make mistakes. So thank you, Maggie. I also wanted to follow up on the mini series that we mentioned last week, set in the Australian outback, and I just couldn't remember the name. Well, I looked it up, and it was called The Thornbirds. The Thornbirds. Sorry about that. And it included Rachel Ward as one of the leading actresses, and she's the one that falls in love with the priest, and it was very controversial at the time. Speaking of Rachel Ward, whatever happened to her? She was very popular back then.
I have no idea. If it was if she was like a sci-fi actress, I would have known
Really?
her. Yeah, I
She was a model.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh,
but
got it.
anyway, so that was the name of the miniseries. So, let's get this kicked off.
Okay. So anyway, so Alfred and Mrs. Alfred reached out to us a few weeks ago and challenged us. And we had to get to the National Zoo, so we went to the National Zoo today. Uh Go ahead.
With beautiful weather.
Yeah. Probably a little too hot for my liking, as I was sweating profusely, as I'm not exactly very svelte in this type of weather. And we had the sun beating down, and we're walking. I think we walked probably like 4 miles today, and that's for me. I mean, that might as well be 400 miles. But we did see. What was your favorite part? I mean, I know like my favorite part was not really the pandas. I like the elephants. What was yours?
I think I like the lionesses.
Oh, those were beautiful. We took some pictures and we put them on our Twitter postings. So that was kind of fun. And Mr. and Mrs. Alfred, I did email you the pictures, so we did actually go. But there was a little bit of controversy where Abigail almost yelled at me. She almost wanted to punch me in the eye. I'll let you tell the audience about that.
Well, overall, I was hungry when we got there, and we ended up eating a lunch. But as we progressed down the big hill at the zoo, knowing that we had to come back up the hill, I was very crotchety, and I saw that there was a Carvel ice cream station that actually had soft serve Carvel. And I wanted to get some, but Arden over here was like, "You're just gonna make a big mess, so we're gonna skip that." So we went further down, and then when we were walking back up, I saw it again, and he reiterated that it would be too messy. So further up the hill, there was another ice cream place, and he brings that up and says, "Well, do you want this?" And I kind of snapped. really for the first time in our relationship. And I was like, I wanted the Carvel ice cream. And I just pouted for a second and we moved on.
I thought she was going to punch me in the eye, honestly. But it was, I mean, I was thinking, I just wanted to start walking up the hill because once again, it's 1.2 miles from beginning to end. And I was sweating, I was miserable, and I was picturing her and myself eating ice cream cones. Uh, it was not a pretty picture in my head.
But I told you I wanted mine in a cup.
Yeah, so I did apologize profusely and offer to buy her stuff. And then later on the way home, Abigail literally made the greatest, brilliant, most awesome thought. She literally said, "What about Slurpees?" Oh my God. Like after an entire day of getting really thirsty. By the way, Abigail, she also would not let me drink out of the water fountain. Uh,
No, no,
yeah,
no, no.
what's the disease called that you get out of a water fountain?
PSA, never drink out of a water fountain. You're talking about Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Serratia marcescens, very bad bacteria. So never ever drink out of a water fountain.
Yeah, so we went and we got Slurpees. I got the biggest Slurpee I've ever had, and I downed it. But it was the most amazing thing, and I didn't want to say how awesome it was. Luckily, luckily, what did you say? You were in the car, and you said like something that I was like, "Oh, thank God!" You were like, "Oh, this is amazing," or "This is great," and I said, "Oh, thank God!" I didn't want to have a fat guy moment and say this is so perfect. So thank you for dealing with that. But we also learned that Abigail does not like reptiles or snakes.
Not at all.
So one of the animals I did want to see was the Komodo dragon. I find them absolutely fascinating. If you don't know anything about them, they're like the biggest monitor lizard there are. They actually are dangerous to humans. They're about 8 feet long, and their bite, even though their bite is not poisonous, they have so much bacteria in their bite that it becomes poisonous. So they will actually bite an animal and wait for it to die and then eat it. It's so cool. So we got to the reptile house and basically she stopped walking and I walked down and saw the Komodo dragon. And it's pretty freaking big. But the lionesses were amazing. The elephants were amazing. They didn't have many apes out in the ape house, but they there was an orangutan that was playing, and they had one little tiny spider monkey, just one. And the one of the zookeepers was just watching it sitting there, and I mean it was weird. There was like a huge place for them to play, and it was tiny, just a little one. Anyway,
Yeah, he was born on August 21st, so
yeah, it's
obviously
a
he's
baby.
small. Yes.
Yep. So that was our adventure today.
Well,
Um,
you haven't said the main thing that we
I
saw.
know.
Are you waiting for that or something?
No, because I was. Yeah, I'll let you describe that because.
No, go ahead. And
Okay,
I don't know why we haven't mentioned it yet.
the pandas. So of course the pandas are playing. They have they're running around. We actually have a picture. The one was grabbing onto it looked like a frisbee, and it was like rolling around, looking all goofy and innocent. Well, I came up with the worst conspiracy theory ever. And I admit, now this is mine, all me, and it is the worst. So are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so here we go. The year is 1972. Joseph Biden becomes senator. What else happened in 1972? The pandas were brought to Washington, D.C., the Chinese pandas.
During the Nixon administration, correct?
That is correct. But he's there, they're there. Then we find out in the year 2001, when Joe Biden was the head of the Armed Services Committee, the Chinese are elected to the World Trade Organization. Then, here's the big one, we got the red panda. And no one really follows the red pandas. The red pandas are real cute. Um, and the red panda escapes in 2018. Who was vice president in 2018?
Joe Biden.
Yes. So, by the way, when I'm talking about the red panda, I'm not talking about the red panda who is the acrobat who likes to flip bowls. Like she rides a unicycle and flips bowls, which is pretty freaking amazing. And then, so she'll literally just sit there and like she goes to the college like basketball games. And so what'll happen is, oh, oh, sorry, I was on a tangent. That's the new tangent warning. I
Yeah, he
apologize.
tends to do this, so
Yes.
I have to rein him back in.
Yeah, so we're talking about the animal, the red panda, not the acrobat who flips bowls. So anyway, the panda escapes, and then all of a sudden, China is now becoming one of the most powerful countries on Earth, and then it unleashes what happens? COVID. It so under COVID, the Chinese released it, and Joe Biden is magically elected president of the United States. Now we are in there's breaking out, there's war in Europe, there's wars in the Middle East, and Joe Biden is president, and the pandas are being brought back to China early, not right now but early. Conspiracy theory, maybe the Chinese know about it, maybe their pandas are actually spies. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, the worst conspiracy ever. But why are they leaving? So we'll know if China invades Taiwan in December. That's when they were supposed to leave, not earlier. But if they leave in December, spies. Thank you.
Arden, that's quite a tale.
Sorry, I thought about that in the shower today. I came up with this entire conspiracy theory in there. So, what I wanted to do is we were going to actually talk about the Halloween.
Yes, Halloween.
Halloween. Now, we're not going to talk about Halloween TV shows. We're not going to talk about Halloween movies. So,
I do want to say that one of my favorite traditions was watching Charlie Brown's Halloween.
love it with the great pumpkin.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I did think Linus was really freaking wacky
Mhm.
about the Great Pumpkin because, like, with his voice, because he was always kind of like, now, dear Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin is going to rise out of the pumpkin patch and he's going to give all these kids candy, blah, 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 blah. Like, meanwhile, poor Charlie Brown kept getting a rock. Like, come on. Everyone got candy and he's like, I got a rock. And he always cut holes and everyone knew he had too many holes in his outfit, in his sheet. But do you remember Pigpen? Pigpen had the trail of dust behind him, and everyone knew who he was. So, what? So you had some questions for me. You said
Yeah, let's cover a few areas.
okay.
Because Halloween is very special to you apparently.
I do love it.
So
My second favorite holiday.
so did you have any traditions?
I didn't as a kid, but now I do, and it's one of my. I really like it. So, one of my buddies that I used to work with, he and his wife used to, and it still does. And we're going. Abigail's joining me for this year, where we actually go to my friend's house and we pass out candy. We listen to like silly Halloween music, not scary Halloween music, and we hand out candy to the kids. We actually sit in where we dress up. So we are going to be Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head this year. And I don't know what, and I'm not sure what they're going to be. My other tradition that we had is when my nieces and nephew, my nieces and nephew were younger, the whole family used to dress as like a common theme. And there was one year I missed out, which I think they were all rock stars. But I just like we had zombies one year, and that was freaking hilarious. Both grandmothers dressed as zombies. I was a zombie. My brother, all the kids were zombies. It was really silly. But I also kind of scared one where I faked being in a rocking chair and where I would like go and rock very slowly and trying to be like an animatronic robot. And if a little kid walked by, I wouldn't do anything. But if an older kid walked by, I would like jump at them. That was actually kind of a fun one.
Mhm.
Then this was actually cool. Do you know the Legend of Sleepy Hollow?
Kind of.
Okay. So I went to school about 45 minutes north, I'm sorry, south of Terrytown, New York, which is where Sleepy Hollow actually is. I think Terrytown may have even changed their name back to Sleepy Hollow. They even have like almost like Salem, like they have the name. So cool going there. They do have the haunted like hay rides and like with the tales of the headless horseman. By the way, that wooden bridge in the Tales of the Headless Horseman does exist, and I've been over it on Halloween Eve. So it was, and you're scaring yourself out with that. So that was really cool. So what else? What else do you got for me?
Well, I mean, naturally, what's your favorite costume you ever wore?
I can I tell you my favorite and my two worst?
Yes.
Okay, so my favorite costume probably was actually a. I'm going to be politically incorrect because it was. I was a Mexican Christmas tree, where I wore all green. I was desperate for something, and I had this in my house, my apartment. I wore green sweatpants, green sweatshirt. I had little clothespins that I think I stole this idea from my brother, but I had a sombrero, a real old sombrero, and I put Christmas lights on it. So I'm at work and I plugged myself in. So I was a Mexican Christmas cactus. I don't know what I was. I was a mess. My worst two. One is I ripped. It was the last time I ever dressed up to go trick or treating with my brother and sister, where I dressed up as a skeleton. It was the ones that you would go to like Walmart, not Walmart, Woolworths. Was that the store in the 70s? It was like Woolworth, and I bought. It was a skeleton. We had the skeleton mask. It was plastic, and like the whole outfit is plastic. And I ripped the leg off somehow, so it all like I look like such a nerd as a little kid. I remember crying, and my mom, of course, had to take pictures. And I kick my leg like behind my brother and sister, so you don't see the leg. They were dressed up as hobos, being completely incorrect. The other one, I was invited to a Christmas party, and it was last minute. I went to it like I knew, and when I mean last minute, it was like last hour. Someone said, "Hey, I got a Christmas party at 7 o'clock in New York City. You want to go?" And I'm in New Jersey, and I'm like, I got. I went to CVS, and like the paper, well, like the cardboard cutouts that you stick on the wall, like just a simple decoration. I bought one of those. I bought a top hat that didn't fit, a stapler, and some really like some fake gloves, and I stapled the mask. I made a mask out of this decoration. I dug little eyes into it, and I tried to be the wolf man. It was awful. The hat didn't fit. Nothing worked. It was so that was my best and worst. Sorry,
Well, for
long winded.
costumes for me, I mean, as an adult, I don't think I've dressed up or gone to a party yet. But I am apparently going next week as Mrs. Potato Head.
Right.
But in my childhood, it was pretty lame. I'm talking a plastic mask that could have been anybody.
Okay.
It didn't necessarily represent anything other than your own face. And it was held by a stretchy cord, a
Yep.
stretchy string. And that's it. I didn't have any clothing that was different, just the mask. And I had my plastic pumpkin.
I like it.
And then the next year, it got a little crack in it. Hey, my dad said it's fine. So that's what I wore. So I never really had any good costumes. But I do recall that as I got older, I tended to skip the pumpkin to hold the candy and use pillowcases. Did you ever
Brilliant. I did.
You did.
Yes, brilliant move on your part.
Right. And overall, as far as a tradition goes, when we got back, my dad would have us line up the candy like a train across the living room floor so he could see it all and take what he wanted.
Nice. That's what parents are supposed to do. They got to taste test everything for quality.
Hmm.
Quick story about pumpkins, by the way. There's actually so. Do you see? Have you ever seen anyone with a blue pumpkin?
No.
So if you see a child with a blue pumpkin, they usually have some kind of disability, like they're deaf or they just have some kind of disability where they may not be able to answer you. I just found out about this. Walmart sells them. So this way, it's supposed to tell people who, when they knock on their door, that they may not say trick or treat and they may not answer to you. So you just give them a candy and you're making their day. So blue pumpkins are very positive in case you see them. So I just had that quick story for you.
Okay. Well, a couple other points. In my family, we did carve pumpkins,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
that was a lot of fun.
Did you eat the pumpkin seeds?
No, I did not.
That was big. My mom would bake the pumpkin seeds with salt,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I actually like them, but I ate them anyway because I thought it was really cool. So I don't know if
Well,
people eat them.
I mean, we had fun doing that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's always something that's not fun.
What's not
And
fun?
that is basically when punks go around and take the pumpkins that have been carved out
Mm-hmm.
and throw them and smash them.
Mm.
You know, when I was a kid, it was on the street.
Right.
But as an adult, I have now seen them throw them at the front doors or even on cars.
Jeez.
And that is not fun.
That's
And I wish I could catch those punks.
when you were younger, did they used to do it like the night before Halloween? Like with us, it was called Cabbage Night. And I've heard a lot of people call it Gate Night. So it's like the night before where they would go and they would throw TP on like trees in your house, or they would take shaving cream, or they would throw eggs at your door.
Well, that, I mean, in my childhood and in high school was just something that somebody did any time of the year.
It didn't need a special
And I
day
am
for
going to
it.
go on a quick tangent about that.
Go for it. You
My
get a tangent.
sister had a friend that went on a TPing outing to our math teacher in high school. Her name was Mrs. Turner, I believe.
Uh-oh.
And the next day, she was sitting at her desk and held up a ring and called my sister's friend's name. And she, raised her hand and she said, "What, Mrs. Turner?" Mrs. Turner held up the class ring with her name engraved in it and said, "I believe you left this at my house last night." So she was totally busted. Anyway, I'll stop that tangent.
No, I like it. So what happened?
Nothing. I mean,
Nothing?
Elizabeth, sorry, my friend, my sister's friend had to just go up and get the ring from her. But it was just pretty funny.
Did she get into any trouble?
No.
Really?
Mrs. Turnham wasn't that way. She was cool.
Wow. See, that's amazing. Like if that happened today,
Oh, there'd be lawsuits.
right, it would be crazy. So, Mrs. Turner, we're big fans of yours.
Yeah.
Great job.
So, and then the other punk thing I can't stand about Halloween is when you get teenagers that aren't dressed at all.
Lazy.
They're
Yeah,
not
I
dressed
agree.
at all. And they knock on your door and they want candy.
Right. Right. That drives me crazy. Odd question. Have you ever had or like remember candy apples and or caramel apples?
I do remember them, but I don't think that I ever went for one.
I've never had a candy apple. I don't think I ever will try a candy apple. I had a caramel apple once when I was like 9 or 10. But I've seen like people like eating them. They have like nuts on them and everything else, and never really had one. So I didn't know if you ever done that. Haunted houses, positive, negative, been to one, never been to one.
I've never really been to one that was truly scary. I've heard about those, but I have not gone.
My sister-in-law loves Halloween. I mean, like almost as much as Christmas. And she had like this one, like she made the basement into like a mini haunted house for the kids. And some of the things were very clever. Like she would have you like see like fake bugs and everything. And then as you were walking, she threw like cornflakes on the ground and you're hearing them crunch and you think you're walking on bugs. and she had like spaghetti and all this stuff out, like, and it would make kids like feel it in the dark. And I'm sorry, if you've ever felt like spaghetti in the dark,
No, but it truly would freak me
because
out.
especially
It
when you
would
think it's
feel like
worms.
no, well, worms and or maybe part of a brain. I mean, could
Yeah,
be a lot of things.
and body parts, canned peaches and stuff like that. Oh my god, yeah. It was, so you like you would reach into something and you're grabbing like and you're squishing them. Oh, it was so fun. So that was one of the things I also really like. Now with that, she would decorate her house, my brother's house and her house, and like they would have like the fake spider lights and the black Christmas trees. Now, don't you actually have a black Christmas tree?
I have two,
Oh,
and
two.
I
Wow.
I love them because they look really great at Christmas time.
Right. So, but you've never actually decorated them for Halloween and take it down and then put it.
No, not at all.
So I'm seeing more and more people decorate the inside of their homes as much as the outside. This year, I have one gourd. It's not even a pumpkin in my apartment. Normally, I have a few things up here and there, but I love it. If I had the space, I would totally be rocking. I'd have everything. I'd have, I don't know, I probably would have like fires in the fireplace and all this other fun stuff. What else do you got? Any more questions that you got for me that you can?
Well, I guess the number one thing is what's your favorite candy?
Ooh, that's a classic. Uh, I really like the bigger Three Musketeers. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
like Three Musketeers. Anything chocolate. Anything chocolate. I mean, a
Not
regular.
even the candy corn then.
Oh God, no. No,
Really?
no, no, no. I don't like candy corn. Going back, back in the day. Remember those little nightsticks that you crack?
Yes.
Yeah, there was one guy who always gave night those little green nightsticks.
That's pretty cool.
They were cool. And then we would go to the other side of town and you'd have the people who would give like the giant candy bars.
Mm-hmm.
Like just imagine how much that costs. You get 100 like you're spending probably like a couple $100 on kids, which is incredible. And now with the size of these things, going back to episode 2, sizeflation, that was what's his head? That guy Daniel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel was talking about sizeflation and like they went from fun size candy bars like what was it? It's not Three Musketeers. It's got another layer.
Hmm.
What's it? Oh shoot,
The
not
Milky
a
Way?
Milky Way. Yes,
Okay, well that's my favorite.
really. Oh, awesome.
Bar none.
Bar. No, wow, that would
Bar
actually be
none. And then I guess I'd go with Twix.
Twix. Yeah, I remember when they came out.
Uh-huh. And I do like Three Musketeers as well.
That's always a good one. That's always a good one. And let's see. Is there any candy that you actually like outside of candy corn that you find absolutely disgusting, like that you hate? Like for example, myself, peppermint patties. I can't stand anything with coconut in it. So like almond joy and mounds.
I have to agree with that one. I
Nice.
don't like coconut.
Yeah. You know what I really like that I never really have? Bit of honey. That's a rare one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then uh I remember like going and you would get like the people who would actually have like the little tiny like old fashioned candies, like not
Yeah.
butterscotch.
What
Like I miss that.
what about the rolls that were really
Rolos?
no.
Not Rolos. Oh, Tootsie Roll?
Tootsie rolls.
Tootsie Rolls are
Those
good.
I'm sure dentists can't stand those.
Or they really like them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
um do you remember UNICEF?
No.
You never had to collect for UNICEF?
No.
Oh my God. So we had these little boxes. They were little orange boxes. And you would go to someone's house and they would drop pennies in the UNICEF box.
Hmm.
So you were trick or treating for yourself would get candy and money for UNICEF. And some people would put like $1 in there. Like, so that was rare, but it was always pennies for UNICEF. And then the next day at school, you had to hand it in.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. And now even then, okay. So you had all these people donating, you had people giving you candy. Think about it now. Like I just saw a picture of like kids in the Midwest parking in like cornfields where the cars were being a big circle and the kids would actually go trick-or-treating the cars. Like they no longer go to houses, they go to the malls, they go like
They
That's
go
all.
to secured areas, basically. I mean, my fondest memories is, running around with the neighborhood kids and going door to door. But unfortunately, we live in different times.
And it stinks. It's and like I mean, all because of some idiots who like put razor blades and candy and stuff like that. And
And try to kidnap kids.
well, yeah, but yeah, don't. But I mean, it's just sad,
Hmm.
being a kid today. And then you have they're in New Jersey. The one town is no longer having Halloween, and it's fun listening to people like all these people who go to other schools where they don't have Halloween. And our office, they're actually into it this year. So I will be dressed up as Mr. Potato Head going into the office on Tuesday, which is going to be a little goofy, but I can do it for my job. Can you do it? Are you?
No, and I explained that to you earlier.
You have a
I,
serious thing
I,
though, for a
I've
good
been at
reason.
my job for a long time, and never, ever has anyone come to work dressed up for Halloween.
Well, your job is actually a very serious job, though. So that actually does make sense. And it's probably up for safety issues as well. Probably that's first and foremost. What I do for a living, I could sit behind a desk and literally dressed up as Mr. Potato Head or anything else I wanted to be.
Yeah, so I mean, Halloween's not really my thing, but I'm looking forward to Tuesday night. I'm actually gonna have a real costume
Awesome.
for the first time in my life, if I think about it that way.
That's
And
it's
so
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
funny.
fun. And I've always handed out candy as much as I can every year to the kids. Um, but I've noticed over the years it's less and less children.
It's so sad. Where I live in an apartment complex, we get a little sign to put on our door if we want to hand out candy, which actually I think is kind of smart. And since I've been away, because I go to my friend's house and I can't wait to bring you, that we hand out candy there. That I have never handed out candy ever in my apartment complex, and I kind of find that sad. But it'll be fun this year because you're going to be with me and we're going to go crazy. And maybe next year we can bring your dogs. We can get them dressed up too.
No. Anyway, I just want to wish every one of you a happy Halloween. I hope you have a good time. Stay safe. And, it's kind of the kickoff for me to, going into Thanksgiving and sailing into Christmas, which I love.
It's going to be awesome. We are crotchety old men.
And a woman.
We are crotchety old men.
And Mrs. Potato Head.
I am Mr. Potato Head. She is Mrs. Potato Head. We are two potato heads. Thanks, everyone. Happy Halloween, and we'll be back next week.
Good night.